Ella Whitmore's office was a storm of panic. Screens were black. Systems frozen. Every second, her company hemorrhaged millions. And there, standing quietly in the corner, was a child Tobias, the maid's 10-year-old son. Everyone ignored him, assuming he was just a kid in the way. But as the minutes dragged on and desperation grew, it became painfully clear. Sometimes the most unexpected person holds the solution that can save everything. Could this quiet boy really fix what the best minds in Silicon Valley could not? Or was this just another hopeless day for Ella Whitmore and her crumbling empire? Whitmore Tech was on the brink of collapse. 3 days of total system failure had drained nearly $500 million each day. The brightest minds, MIT grads, cybersecurity experts, and Silicon Valley legends had all failed to revive a single server. Ella Whitmore, a tech mogul with a Harvard MBA, had built this empire from nothing, starting in her garage over a decade ago. Now, standing in her glass-walled boardroom, she faced the impossible: fire her employees, lose her company, and watch the empire she built crumble. Meanwhile, Tobias, the maid's son, had followed his mother to the office that morning. Most executives barely noticed him, dismissing him as a distraction. But he lingered, eyes scanning the lifeless monitors with quiet curiosity. His small hands twitched as if itching to type on the keyboards, and his mind raced, not with play, but with understanding. In a room full of panic and arrogance, he might be the only one who saw what everyone else had missed. Ella rubbed her temples as the board argued, blaming everyone but themselves. Tobias, however, stepped forward. "Can I take a look at the system?" he asked quietly. Laughter erupted. A child? Amid the $500 million lost per day, they found humor in a 10-year-old's curiosity. "Kid, these are enterprise systems, not games." One executive scoffed. Tobias didn't flinch. His gaze remained fixed on the monitors. "I code a lot at home. Sometimes problems are simple, and grown-ups overthink them," he said. His tone wasn't cocky, just confident in what he knew. Ella watched, something stirring in her chest, hope or perhaps desperation. She gestured for him to continue. Tobias approached the servers, typing with surprising skill. Within minutes, he uncovered hidden malware planted months ago by a former disgruntled employee, Derek Connors, fired 8 months prior for incompetence. Tobias mapped the malicious code, noting its methodical destruction of internal and customer data. The board could hardly believe it. A child was analyzing what the best cybersecurity minds had failed to detect. "Derek's not just stealing. He's destroying everything," Tobias explained. The executives stared, realizing the scope of their oversight. As Tobias worked, screens flickered back to life. Data restored. Systems revived. The impossible was happening. Ella Whitmore's heart raced as Tobias worked tirelessly. The malware wasn't simple. Derek Connors had orchestrated months of planning, building a sophisticated web of destruction across every server and database. Every click Tobias made revealed layer after layer of sabotage. The room was tense. Senior executives, who had once scoffed, now watched in stunned silence. "He's fixing it?" muttered one, barely audible. Tobias didn't answer. They couldn't distract him even if they tried. Every restored screen was a victory, every reactivated system a lifeline for the company. Suddenly, alarms blared again. Derek had launched a counterattack, attempting to erase everything anew. But Tobias anticipated the strategy, navigating the system with the precision of someone far beyond his years. "Not this time," he whispered, overriding the destructive code, securing backups, and restoring sensitive files. Ella stepped closer, disbelief mixed with relief washing over her. The impossible had been achieved not by Silicon Valley legends, not by boardroom experts, but by a 10-year-old boy dismissed as irrelevant. As the final system came online, the board erupted in astonished applause. The empire that had teetered on the brink of collapse was saved, thanks to a child they had all underestimated. 6 months later, Tobias Washington sat confidently in a congressional hearing room, legs swinging slightly as he faced a packed audience. The committee chairwoman smiled gently. "Mr. Washington, Can you explain how a 10-year-old was able to thwart a major cybercriminal? Tobias's calm voice carried across the room. Mostly video games and coding taught me to think differently than adults. I saw patterns they missed. Laughter rippled through the room, but his words struck deep. His intervention had led to the arrest of Derek Connors and 12 accomplices in the largest corporate cybercrime case in American history. 43 companies were targeted. Over $2.8 billion in manipulated assets were recovered. Hundreds of thousands of jobs saved. Ella Whitmore sat beside him, voice choked with emotion. I almost destroyed my company because I couldn't look past my prejudices about age and background, she admitted. Tobias didn't just save Whitmore Tech, he had changed the perspective of an entire industry. Scholarships were funded, children inspired to code, and a new wave of problem solvers began to emerge. Tobias Washington proved that genius has no age, no background, no limitation. The child once dismissed as irrelevant had not only saved a tech empire, but exposed corruption and inspired a generation. Have you ever underestimated someone because of their age or background? The story asks. The lesson is clear. Brilliance comes from the most unexpected places. Share this story if you believe talent deserves recognition. And remember, the next breakthrough might come from the person you least expect.